There are times when I want to speed things up in my workflow, and that's where color grading actions come in. These are some of the actions I have available in the shop, and I use them often in my own digital art. They're simply a way to work smarter. They give you beautiful color options without adding more time to your process. Let's play with some of the actions and tints that are available in my color grading tools. Depends on what you want to get out of your image. I'm going to start up here. I've got a number of tints that are in a collection. I've also got some different color grading tools. I've got matte that I can use to add that muted tones. But let's just go and explore what some of these actions do. It's what I call one click and you make a color choice. If I look at the image and I want to just give it a little bit of pop in contrast, I'll click here. I have my actions panel open here. Everyone has their actions panel in different places, but if you can't see your actions panel open, you'll go to Window and make sure you've got actions ticked. For me, as a personal preference, I like mine to be in button mode, and this is where I can access my different actions. But let's say I want a little bit of pop, a little bit of contrast. I'll click on that action and it's automatically put an action color graded for me. If I turn that layer off and on subtle, I'm not looking for big shifts in color. I'm looking for subtle, and this is where I build up the color depth, not one layer, but with several layers to get the look that I'm after. I'll click back onto the image, I'll turn that layer off, and let's say that I want to add in a little bit of coolness in this image. I'll click on this action here, one click, and let's have a look. I'll turn that layer off and on. You can see automatically it's changed the color depth in there. I'll turn that layer off, and then I'll apply another color tint, and this time I'll go for a vintage brown. I'll click on that, I'll turn that layer off, and I'll turn it on. Why I'm using these tints and actions is to speed up my workflow and my color choices. Instead of going into levels or curves and trying to play with the sliders and get it all there, these one-click actions in your toolbox, as the saying goes, can really speed up your color game. I'll come down here, I've got another collection and I've got a grey solid colour, a mint. Now I'm going to turn that layer off. I'll click on the layer and I'll use a mint solid colour. Now let's have a look at this. When you apply it, it's really lifted that up. Bit bright, but I'll use this quite often to give a lift in colour. The blend mode is soft light, the opacity is at 100%. Let's dial that opacity down. And you can see now I've got a lighter image. I'll tend to use this instead of going into levels or curves. It just gives an automatic lift to your image. All right, let's try another one and let's have a look. I've got a golden wash or a brown wash. Let's click on brown wash and let's see. It really dials the tones down. Have a look at that action. I've created the levels with the settings, and all you have to do is click once on that action. Let's turn that layer off. If I want to add a bit more of a matte look to it, I can use any of my matte collections here, and I'll go click on cashmere. I'll go and click on a mocha. I can get different tones, but it's all about speeding up your workflow. Let's turn those layers off, and then I can start looking at my different LUTs or lookup tables. I'll come over here, I'll go into color lookup. I'll come into load 3D. Now I've loaded these up into this area here. Let's say, for example, I want to go down here into this one and I'll choose Moss Light and let's see what it does. You can see the green tones coming through. Let's go and choose another LUT. Let's go into the earthy tones, Warm Sand, and have a look at the colour depth that I'm getting with these LUTs. That's just a small sample of the colour grading tools that I've got available in the shop. They're handy for quick colour shifts and exploring different moods, and they definitely speed up your workflow and colour game. Check them out in the shop.